Thanks, Allie. My name is Kim Dallefeld. I am a Microsoft MVP. I've been working in Business Central and its predecessors for 30 years. Um, it keeps changing. We keep adding new stuff, which is exciting, but it also keeps us on our toes. There's a lot of new little features that have been added over the last few years, and we just tend not to go back and tell people about some of those things, especially if you've been using the system for a while. So I thought today would be, just a kind of a refresher. Hopefully, I touch on some things that you didn't know. And if you have a question about something, please ask. This is open forum. Want to help in any way possible. Yes, please put your questions in chat. So let's get started. Let me see if I can share my screen now. Allie's going to monitor our chat, so because I tend to talk a lot and I don't want to miss anything. Okay, when you log into Business Central, you get a role center. A role center is important. We tend to kind of work up here on the top of the menu, but there's a whole lot going on below. But before I show you that and go into that, I want to talk about, I hope your role center shows your name and has these actions. I'm going to show you one that doesn't. And if you're looking at something like this every day, we want to get rid of that because that's just taking up space and not providing you any feature functionality. So I actually click on, go back to the checklist, and I get down to the bottom here and it says I'm ready to go, and I will close that. Now this is a demo environment, so it'll probably come back up. These notifications you can actually turn off, but you might want to check them and see if there's anything here that you should be worried about. So I'm just say don't show these. And now notice how everything moved up and I've got more things that I can utilize. I'm going to go, it doesn't really matter where we go from here. I want you to see that this role center is different than this role center. Not a lot, but a little. This one has a little less here. So what drives that? What makes it different, right? Well, that's what you're assigned to. Hopefully not everybody's using the business manager role center or the accountant role center, or like the default used to be, everybody was a sales order processor. We have a lot of role centers and they're typically assigned to you to try to help you out. Under my settings is the role center that I'm on. Not everybody can change your own role center, but you can talk to your lead person, talk to the consultants, talk to us, and talk about, hey, I'm having to search for things all the time. There are a lot of role centers. These are designed to give you the things that you need to get your job done so that you can use all of these great pieces of information here and not have to search continually for what you want. I tend to not use these a lot, but then I don't work on the system like a lot of you do. If I am in accounts payable, these are going to show me the things that I need to worry about. I've got some purchase invoices that haven't been posted yet. I've got some that are due next week. I've got some payments that are unprocessed, and just good things that I need to know. I think I'm on a business manager role here, so I'm getting a little bit of sales and payables. Down here would be maybe things for maybe a manager, right? Are they run? Do we have some things running in the background? Excuse me. Do I have some emails that haven't gone out? They say they're in the outbox, which means they haven't been sent. I've got approvals, and I can keep going. Some of this I can hide because that's just a lot of scrolling and I don't need it. That's part of personalization, which I'll talk about. But then I get down to the bottom here and I can see some charts. I could look at Power BI reports, and I actually have these favorite accounts. Now, this is something I really like. This is something you manage. This is not the full chart of accounts. It's a list that you own. So I'm going to take out, oh, I don't know, let's take out total revenue. I'm deleting that line. Yes, but only from my favorite list. I can do favorites for items, vendors, customers, and GL accounts. So now if I was looking up something, let's say in the chart of accounts, I'm going to show you where I would use that, my filters. So I would do %, my accounts. And I did something wrong. Okay. Let's do customers because I know I can do that one right. Let's hope I have some customers. I don't use this a lot, but I think for a lot of you, you're working on collections for from some certain customers, or you've got some certain vendors that you're dealing with. Oh, I know what I did. This is supposed to be the number field, and then % my customers. And I don't think I set any up. I did. See how it just took my list? I can use this on a report if I'm running a receivable report, and these are the people I am working on. I need them. I'm trying to do a campaign for them. I'm trying to collect, whatever it might be. So remember, it's customers, vendors, items, and even GL accounts. Now, what I did on that one, just to show you that it does work, because I'm a big proponent of show me, don't tell me if I did it right. Still did it wrong. Is it one? All right, I'm going to figure that one out and let you know, because I did it wrong 3 times. Okay. It does work here though. And this also in your role center. Yes, yes. It's giving me information. I can drill on this. If this was vendors, I could go to the vendor card. So it's quick ways to get to things. Okay. Now, as good as these role centers are, oh, and this is trying to load Power BI. We don't care at the moment. Not everything's here, or I have to click 2 or 3 times to get it, right? So what you can do, let's see, maybe I do bank recs a lot. So I'm going to call this up, and notice right here, this little bitty, tag, I guess. It's supposed to be a bookmark you put inside the book. You just turn it on. And it tells you, hey, I'm going to put this in your role center. Let's go back. Where did it put it? Well, I already had a bunch up here, so it added it under more, and it's here. And by the way, I could pin this so I could see all of these things a little easier. You don't want everything under the sun listed here, but it's very handy for things that you do all the time. That's called a bookmark. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Do you see this circle with, this is a smiley face with a cowboy hat, if you can't tell. And I set that actually in my company information. It's called a badge. You're down here under badges, and you can put custom. You can pick a color. You don't get to pick any color, but you get to pick colors. Why it's custom is because that's the only choice other than none. And then you can put an emoji here. You can also put up to 6 characters. And once you do, it then populates here. And it's in here a little bit. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. I'm going to go to this, and notice we haven't set up any badges. I wish I had done that. Maybe I can show you here. Okay, some are circles, some are squares. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I clicked on my environment, And now I can see the things that I can move to, change to a different company, a different, even a sandbox, a test environment. If it's square, that means it's a sandbox or a dev environment, something. It's not your production environment. Circles, that's where the real stuff lies.
Hey Kim, we have a quick question from the chat. Does
Sure.
changing the company badge do it for all users or just yours personally?
Everybody.
Awesome, thank you.
Everybody. Yeah. And I'm very visual, so colors are handy for me. The circles tell me, what I need to know. You can see down here, here's Dallefeld Consulting in a circle. Here it is again with the same emoji but a square. So and if you copy the company, the company badge goes with it. So if you create a test company, you might want to change it. That's why I don't like test companies as much as I like a sandbox, because then I don't accidentally do things in the wrong company. Okay, so the badges, and then let me just talk about shortcuts. I don't use a lot of them. I highly recommend if you do a lot of data entry, learn some. There's one, if you don't know it now, it's called F8. And I'll show you how that one works, but it's really handy for somebody who works in a journal a lot. There is a list of shortcuts. If you go to your question mark and you go to keyboard shortcuts, this will take you to Microsoft Learn and need a spyglass, big magnifying glass, but here is a PDF of the shortcuts. So it's real nice. I had some people that printed this out, laminated it, and people used it kind of as a mouse pad. Pick one that you think could be helpful, maybe like inserting a new record is Alt-N, right? Refreshing Business Central. The data is F5 to reload Business Central's control plus F5. So there's kind of some neat things that you can do here. That is under the question mark and then keyboard shortcuts. We'll get into a couple of others of these in a little bit. All right. So what else can I do? So we bookmark these, right? But what if we really like this, but some of this stuff I just will never use? You can personalize it. We don't talk a lot about personalizing the role centers, and sometimes your company will restrict that so that you can't do it because they want everybody with a business manager to have some of the same things. But this highlighted red because I clicked in this area and I'm pointing to this, so I got a couple more reds. And I'm just going to hide this. It's still out there. I can actually look over here with this plus field and I can get it back easily. But I'm not going to be scanning any documents. I'll leave payments, but I don't need the job queues. I don't do those. Now, it would be really nice if I could take and move this email status up to here. Some of those things you can't do. On the role center, you're restricted. Let's just say done to this. Play with it. Work with your team so that everybody kind of has the same thing. But you'll notice now that some of those things that I had in here, that scan, that's gone. The job queue is gone. So the goal is so that I don't have to scroll 4 times to get to the bottom of things, because I need that report inbox. That's where I'm going to go to every day to see what reports ran for me overnight. So let's talk about where we work, because this is just the wrapping, right? Let's open some boxes here. So let's talk about customers. And I'm going to take the filter off. So this is a list of customers. Almost always when I go to something, if I go to sales Probably don't have any open. Let's go to this database real quick. All right, chart of accounts. Almost any time that I click on something from a menu, I'm going to get what's called a list page. It's where my master records like customers, vendors, items, chart of accounts, fixed assets, everything opens up to a list page. But so do my unposted documents, sales invoices, purchase orders, all of those. We start with a list page, even the posted documents. This is one thing I'll point out quickly is these are fantastic screens to be able to get it additional data that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But here's the posted invoices. Well, that's great. I got to open each one to see anything about what was on it, right? No. I actually have for every posted document that's listed here, right? I have the lines that go with them. So posted, purchase, and by the way, you don't have to type all of this out, posted, purchase, invoice lines, right? It finds it for you with just a little bit of the words. This is all the lines from all the posted purchase invoices that I've put in the system. Can do the same thing for sales. So we're going to come back to that because we're going to use that to do several things with. But these are our list pages. But if you want to see this invoice, when we click on the number, we're going to get the actual record itself. This is called a card, right? Like we talk a lot of times about the customer card or the vendor card. It opens up a master record or a document for transactions. I don't want to forget the attachments over here or the fact boxes. I don't use a lot of fact boxes. You can see a lot of mine are hidden. I'm always turning this off because I want more screen real estate. I don't like a scroll bar. So if I can size like this is way too big, that field's never that long, right? If I can make these smaller to fit my data and get rid of a scroll bar, it's a challenge. You can't always do it, but when you can, it's wonderful. Like line discount doesn't have to show everything. Matched order lines, I'm not even using that. Project number can wrap, referral code. So a lot of things you can do. And notice how I'm getting rid of that scroll bar. I'm not even using item reference code, so why don't we hide it? Again, personalization. And I'm going to come here and I'm simply going to look for that red indicator and I'm going to hide. I really like my deferral code before project code. You can move in here as well, but I'm just going to click done. All I've really done is hide. You have to be careful with arranging your columns in certain orders. Like you don't put the number field before the type because the type decides what kind of things can be in the number. Typically don't put your cost before your quantity. There's just a few things like that. Most of the things you can move around. But notice I'm really almost done with having a scroll bar. That makes me very happy. You might not care. I love to get rid of it. Okay. So your card views, your list views, and fact boxes. So I have a fact box here on a list view as well. These can be really powerful in showing you like this transaction here also had all of these transactions, right? So this purchase invoice created all these transactions. Kind of nice. I don't have to go look anything up anywhere. It's there. Let me go to customer or card or a vendor card. Let's do a vendor. What I like, one of the things I'm going to get into, I don't like this. except in one new place that they've added. But what's really cool here is when you go to a vendor or a customer, and even inventory items, there's a new feature in Business Central. It's been there a little bit now, but it's called Summarize. And this is actually using AI to go out and look up things about your vendor. How much work have you done? How many open POs? Trying to give you some information. This is your number one vendor. You buy everything from them. And it gives you the ability to drill into what's going on. The last time they paid you, they need to send some money. And you can show more, and you can then interact with Copilot and ask other questions. It's a nice, easy way to start using Copilot to let the system do some work for you. You don't have to use it. You can, put it back. Attachments and things come under your fact boxes. A lot of times people ask, where are the attachments? Everything that's blue or this teal color, remember, it means I can click on it and get to other data. So drill down. These are all going to be drill downs. How many posted receipts do we have? How many invoices? It looks like they paid all of them. So nice things to look at there. I could spend a whole lot of time just talking about the card views, but let's talk about, there's not very many here. How many customers do we have? Maybe more. I think most of these are short. So let's don't do that. Let's go to customer ledger entries. So all the transactions for our customers, right? Remember, ledger entries equal transactions, right? Customer, vendor, item ledger. The reason I wanted to bring this up is to talk about filtering. Okay. Sketching up. So maybe what I'm looking at is, and I'm always coming in here to look for invoices or credit memos or payments, but I'm going to click here on this line. Doesn't matter what field I'm in. And I'm going to, actually I want to be up on this row. I'm going to tell the system to filter to this value. So wherever my arrow is, that's my focus. And I say filter to this value, whatever column I'm in. So it's this kind of which row, which column, it's going to filter using what's in that cell. Okay. I could also do dates, but I can't filter to this value. I only get that one date, but I can add a filter by clicking here or clicking the filter up here on the top right, and it will actually, because I'm in that column, it brings posting date in here. This is something I'm always doing. You can play with posting date, and you can have it get from the first of the month through today or different things like that. I'm going to pretend that one of the things I'm always doing is analyzing invoices. So I like this view. I'm going to save it. That's what this is right here. Now I do have to be in the filter pane to do that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to call it invoices. I'm real creative here. Okay. Here's why I like this. One is you don't have to type it over and over, but watch. We're going to hide the filter pane. I'm a real estate hog. I'm always wanting to see more and more of the data. Okay. Notice up here it says invoices. Well, for this time, I want to see everything. And normally when you come into this screen, you're going to get everything. But I don't have to open the filter pane. I don't have to click on filter to this value. I can simply say invoices. And you can have as many of these saved views as you want. And you can share, I believe you can share saved views. And again, you can share the saved view, I believe. Personalization, if you wanted everybody to have the same columns, that has to be set at the profile. So for the business manager or the accountant. But that can be done so you all talk the same language. That's sometimes the hardest part in doing support. The So these views are great. Of course, I think you all know you can take this out to Excel, do whatever you want to, change anything. That's not going to come back in to Business Central. There is an edit in Excel, and I can tell you for this, there you can take it out to Excel, and it's still not going to come back into Business Central because all of the controls about data security and data validation are in place when you use edit in Excel. But if you had your customer master list and you had Ben as the salesman on it, and Ben is promoted now to sales manager, and so Sally comes in and she's taken over Ben's account, and you got 1,000 customers, you don't want to have to go edit each one. You can take that out to Excel, change Ben to Sally, bring it back in. That whole thing would take you 5 minutes max. So great reasons to use it. I haven't done a lot of sharing to teams on a record, but you can share a link out to somebody for them to look at something, which can be really handy. The thing I want to move to next is something called analyze mode. Sometimes we call it analysis views. Here they called it analysis mode. I call it analyze mode. It is another way to look at rows and columns. I'm going to click in here, and what you're going to first say is, well, Kim, that's just the same thing. It's got all the same columns, all the same rows, big deal. I agree. Except that I can come over here and say, you know what? I know these are invoices because I already asked, so I don't need the type. I don't really care about the document. It's a posting date I care about. I don't need a customer name. I don't need the number. We'll go by name. The description just tells me the invoice number. I don't need the currency. So you can come in here and take things out. Yeah, Kim, doesn't really do much for me. Well, first of all, I could ask Copilot to build this for me. I'm not great at asking Copilot to do what I want it to do, but I highly encourage you to learn how to ask Copilot questions to get the data you want. It's a work in progress for me. But I do have an account. There's 56 invoices, and they total $235,000. Let's see if this is amount remaining over here. I don't have anything remaining. That's good. Everybody's paid. But I'm going to come up here to customer name, and I'm going to drag it here into row groups. I'll let it go. And what it has done is, if I had more customers in here, it would have summarized. I was only on this customer. Let's just go back real quick so you can see this work a little better. Let's do, I had somebody ask for a sales report, and it was very detailed what they wanted. I was like, we don't have that report. But I went to posted sales invoice lines, and we wrote the report in just a few minutes by using analyze mode. So you can see the system saved what I did just for this company, a datum, and it saved it. And when I opened it back up, it reported back on those. So now I have 579. Notice there's a count. So for School of Fine Arts, I have 150 documents. Now I could apply filters. I'm not a fan of applying filters here, depending upon how much data you have out there, because this is doing all this sorting and summing, it can slow it down. So if you can filter on your posting date before you open this screen, you can export this to Excel. Okay. And if you've got this as grouped, when it goes into Excel, you will get the groupings. So I think that's pretty nice. They kept the format so you can expand it, collapse it in Excel. You know, I put customer name on here, and now I've realized that I think I need customer number too. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to use, this is a really new feature. I'm going to add columns. So and it takes us a second to load. It's going out and pulling up a list of every place that we could go get columns to put in this report. So I could get customer name, I could get customer city, I could get customer contact name. I could get several things from here. It's not the fastest for the first time through, but it allows me to go pick data from other sources, which kind of brings me a little built-in report writing tool. Doesn't do everything in the world, but it does provide information. Now, this is not going to give you every table that's in the system, but of course I picked customer, which is used everywhere, and it is going to take it a minute. So I'm going to click out of that just for sake of time. It's something you definitely can try on your system. The other thing that people like a lot is just the pivot mode, where you can take out all the values and just, your pivots. And you can control which values. Like, I don't really need to see debits and credits. I only care about the balance. So I'm going to take out the debits and credit columns. And I don't need local currency because I only have one currency. In this case, I think in this data there might be two. But anyway, I can get it down to a lot less columns and still get the data that I want. So I think that's also handy. And you can set your different column labels. Analyze mode. I really, really like this. I think it's really powerful. And you save these. You can have as many of these as you want, and you can share this view. So there are a lot of things that you can do. So here I can add columns. So I could go out to the customer table. Let's pull something really obscure. I think zip code is always one that I find really fun. On here to, oh, and it's called postcode. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. I'm going to go out of pivot mode. Typically puts it, see, the end. But because I'm still summed, let me open this up. And now we're seeing, oh, now I got too much data, too many things happening. This is what will happen if you have a lot of data that and you've got it going out and looking at other tables. So sometimes you have to do it in a certain order to get your best results. Okay. Some of my favorite things for those of you who do research or data input and you're working in a journal and you need to go find something, talk about those. Customer ledger. I'm going to go back out. Oh, by the way, if you leave this screen and you go back to the customer ledger, and see, you don't even have to type the right words. It's going to put you back in analysis mode. Okay. Don't panic. Just click this button and you're back.
We have a quick question on how to save. How do you save the analysis view?
So it saves automatically the one I'm in. If I want to do a new one, and I could change the name on this. There's a rename. Where's the rename? Yeah, I can rename it. So first try. Then I can go to another one. I can name it before I start doing anything, right? Second try. But as soon as you start one, it saves it. If you don't want it, you can delete it, right? Here's the cool thing. You're not hurting any data here. If I delete this one, it's just deleting that analysis that I did. So it's a playground. We can build things and knock the Legos over and start again. So but that's how it will save the one you're working on. All right, so I'm going to go. That answer your question, I hope. Yeah, that was a good point. Somebody said like an Excel tab. Perfect scenario. All right. I'm looking at a bunch of data and I see 5,000. I'm not looking at this column. I only see 5,000. I'm going, who is that? You see the dotted underlines? I click on the dotted underlines. That's a peek. You get to peek at who that is. Huh. Oh, that's where Jesse works. I forgot that. Okay, well, I can give him a call, right? And I didn't have to open the whole thing. Same thing over here. I've got medium with underlines. What does medium mean, right? Medium business. Be nice if it said a little bit more. Well, I don't know that enough. Let me open the full list, which was also not a lot of help in this case, but you get the point. If in some cases, this is a date, right? And it's got an underline and I click it and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to bring up a date. Well, no, it opens the record. So typically that first column in any list, when you click, it's going to take you to the originating master record or document card. It's a little tricky. Got to keep you guessing, right? By the way, I don't use the X to close my screen a lot of times. I'm going to open this back up. I could come over here and close somehow if there's an X. I just use escape, right? Let's see. Is there any other fields that I see? The amount is, of course, drillable, so it would take us to the documents. All right. There are a few fields. And you've probably heard us say, you can't edit something that's posted. It's true. You can't. But you can. There's a few things, such as when is this due? That got calculated based on a due date, terms and a due date, right? Customer called and they're having trouble, and could we please give them some extended time, right? Typically what you want to do is you want to change that due date so your receivables don't look like everything's quite so old. So you can change a due date, a payment discount date, a payment tolerance date, the discounts that are applicable. Not by clicking them, it doesn't let me, right? Well, so the edit list, oh, good, I can change this amount. No, you can't. It's not editable. If I click on it, I'm just going to get the transactions, right? But here, because I'm in edit mode, I could change the due date, or I could change the payment discount date. This is true on customers and vendors. The reason I can change them is because they're non-financial. They'll become financial when they trigger something, like when I do a payment and I need to take that discount. But right now, they don't impact my financials at all. There's a couple of others out there. There's a promised payment date, a couple of other things. You can put something on hold. There's a couple of cool tools for handling there. Let's talk, and I could have done it from the customer ledger, but let's go to the general ledger entries. What happens a lot of times, we're in here and we find the entry that we're looking for. Not all these residuals. Let's see if I have anything else. And I would really like to know everything that happened with this transaction. Find entries. If I've got this showing, I might already have the related GL accounts. A lot of times I don't have that. And so find entries is what you're looking for. What find entries does, though, is more than just give you those GL entries. It tells you where this came from, a posted sales invoice. It tells you it made customer entry, value entry for anybody using inventory. That means it had an impact on your inventory cost of goods. So find entries, I believe you can also actually do find entries from Tell Me. People call this Tell Me. They call it Explore. I always called it Tell Me because it says tell me what you want to do. But here's find entries also, a couple of different places. So you don't really have to go anywhere and you can put in find entries. You do need at least a document number to look for. There is a company search, and let's see if I do this right. And you can use this to look across kind of anything. So let's see, Fabricam. It's just the name of a vendor. It tells me I've got contacts, vendors, some ledger entries, even more, some posted purchase invoices and more. You could put, let's try this. Let's type in 1612. I didn't like that one. All right. Sally. Thought I had a Sally. Maybe it's an Anna. So see, it doesn't always work, but sometimes when you just have no clue of where this actually looked for the city of London. So this can be kind of a wild, just across the board. I don't know if it's a customer. I don't know if it's a vendor. Somebody just said, hey, who do we call over at, such and such company? Across the board lookup. Okay. I'm going to show you one other item. First of all, any questions so far? There's a lot here, a lot more you can do. I'm kind of skimming the surface. Remember, it's 101. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to go to the item sales by customer. It's just a report. Customer sales by item. Try that one. No, Power BI report. Item sales. I think it's this one. We're going to try it. So I have a report here and I can do some filtering. Let's see if I do 26 on this database. I should be okay. And I'll do the whole year. Never has that much data. And I'm going to send this to Excel data only. So I get a spreadsheet. Okay. I typically will take the time to delete a whole bunch of columns in here because I don't need them, right? Like, don't tell me what period you're running this for. I know, I don't, this is all like heading stuff. So you can, and I'm going to read some of it out just because it's going to make it easier to do the next step. And you'll find a lot of times in these, it will put the same values in multiple columns. Again, more headings. It's just how it formats all of this. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to add another sheet. And I'm going to insert a pivot table. I do have it in a list of columns. All right. Doesn't like me doing the whole thing. Okay. And so I'm going to do customer name and item under each customer. And let's put some sales over here. All right. That's count, not dollars, but that's okay. And I could tell the system to create a chart, right? That's not, yeah.
We also have a question from the chat. What's the difference between open in Excel and edit in Excel? They're saying I know the answer, but the folks in the call may not.
No, that's a good one. So open in Excel literally takes the data, the rows and the columns that you're looking at, and drops it into Excel. Edit in Excel does the same with an addition. I'm going to save this real quick. Save as customer item sales. That's fine. Save. Now I'll show you what we got. All right. Close this and let's do vendor ledger. I just picked something that has rows and columns. So the difference in edit in Excel over open in Excel is how it opens. It opens with really being slow right now, with the ability to makes you log in because it's creating a connection between the spreadsheet and Business Central. So it will, you see this pane that opened up over here. I don't have any data yet. So it's going to make me log in to my Excel right here. And I probably will type it wrong. Yeah, but I can't get there because I'm on a different tenant. Once I do that, it's going to give me some options right here, down here on the bottom right side. It's going to say publish, analyze, etc. I can make change, and it's going to, as soon as I log in, it's going to populate with all the data. If I go to change something and I want to send it back into BC, I have to click the word publish. It will go out and it will look at all the controls and data validations on that field that you changed to see if it's allowed to take what you want to change. If it won't take it, it'll mark it pink. I believe it's pink or kind of a red color. And it will tell you, hey, I was able to bring in 2 of your 20 changes type thing. So the data must meet the validation criteria in BC. Hope that answers your question.
All right. We also have a follow-up on that. It's what's the risk of using edit in Excel?
Well, you can't change posted documents, or those ledger entries. It's the fact that, but you can change some things on master records. But when you change them and you say publish, it's going to come back and say, I made 523 changes. Yeah, it did. And there's no undo. That's the risk, right? So you have to be careful, really know what you're doing, test it, right? Test it in a sandbox till you're really comfortable, because there's no undo. All right, I'm going to close this customer report, and I'm going to go find this report. Let's see. We have a list of reports in the system if you're ever looking for all the reports. Customer item sales. Okay, I'm going to create a new report. it's the same number. Kim's report. It's going to be Excel. And let's say okay. Going to go out and bring in that little sample, my file. Now, when I run this report from a menu, I don't have to be here to run it. When I run it, I get options up here. Do I want to run the standard report or do I want to run Kim's report? If I run this report, notice I don't get a print. I can only download it to Excel. But it's something that I can use over and over again instead of exporting to Excel and manipulating all the data. And then next month I get to do it again. So it's real handy. Again, you can't really mess anything up. Here's my sheet where we created the pivot table. And you can reorganize this. I typically hide my data sheet and rename this to whatever I want it. I build, charts and things. So again, more ways to get your data out and report on them maybe than you knew you had. And I didn't touch on financials because there's a raft of things and new features. Hopefully that helped you learn a few things that you can do. Some of it I hope you already knew. And but I'm happy to do more questions. I finished. You forgot to remind me, Allie, at 10 minutes because I would talk right on through the top of the hour.
Oh, sorry, we were all just so interested.
I can answer any one-off questions. Doesn't have to be about the content today. So fire away if you've got a question you're dying to ask. Did I put you to sleep that bad? All right, well, I guess you get 5 minutes back. And I really thank you for attending. If there is something else you would like to see a webinar on, please reach out and let us know. Want to do more of these to help everybody. Thanks, everybody. I love the hearts and the claps. Makes it all worth doing.
Awesome. Well, we got one saying we'd love to learn more about the report, so we'll have to make an event on that.
We will. We'll do more on reports. Sounds great, guys. Oh, and before I forget, the user group has a national meeting every month. It's a webinar meeting. It's on the third Thursday of the month. You can go to Dynamic Communities Learner site and sign up for free. There's always two little educational, like 30 to 45-minute sessions about different topics, and they're listed on the website. So if you can't find it, if you need some more on that, let us know as well. But it's all about helping you use your system more effectively. Y'all have a good day. We'll talk to you next time.